one PSA topic. In this next topic, we're going to talk about the age-old question: should you buy your Tesla or should you lease your Tesla? I get this question a lot, and so we'll go through the different schematics with it and why leasing actually does not make too much sense at all unless you're a particular type of buyer. So we'll get into it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us take a look at it. So of course, if you're purchasing a Tesla, you can go to the Tesla website and see all the different builds that are out there. You've got Model Y, Model 3, S, and Model X. And so leasing usually makes sense if you're a business owner, because if you're a business owner, it's a simpler payment. That's easier for accounting and things like that. But if most people, that when they get to the Model Y page, because most people are looking to buy a Model Y these days next to a Model 3, you get three different options for purchasing your Tesla. You got cash, you got lease, and then you have a loan. Loan, if you didn't know, you don't have to use Tesla financing, even though these are the rates right here. And if you're looking to buy a vehicle, you can actually choose any of these options. Of course, after you use a Tesla referral code, just like the one down below in the description, so you can get some extra Tesla loot box credits. But you can always choose one of these right off the bat, and then you can change what you want to do after. So don't feel like you're locked in 100%. You have to commit to this. You can click loan for now and then tell Tesla you're going to use outside financing like a credit union, or outside financing like Tenet, down below in the description, because Tenet is a channel sponsor and Tenet allows you to get a lower monthly payment for financing your Tesla. So definitely check out Tenet down below in the description. So you can change really any sort of option for that. But of course there's transparency here. If you hit lower terms, it's going to give you different rates, and you can try and get a little bit of an idea of what your payment could be. But most of you have probably noticed when you switch it to a lease payment, you're going to get lower payment options across the board. And that's because leasing usually is a lower payment because you're only financing what you use, or only financing the 3 years of quote unquote ownership of the vehicle. But the one thing with the lease, the one thing I always strongly do not recommend a Tesla lease is because when you lease a Tesla Model 3 or Model Y, you actually don't own the vehicle at all, and you cannot choose to buy that vehicle at the end of the lease. So if your vehicle for some reason is more valuable than whatever the residual or the ending value at the end of the lease is, you have to turn it back into Tesla. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You can't take advantage of any sort of equity. So it is literally just a car rental at the end of the day to give it back to Tesla. But most people are wondering what happens to the tax credit, because there is this massive $7,500 federal tax credit when you purchase a Tesla. When you buy a Tesla, when you finance it or pay cash, you as a person are able to take advantage of that full $7,500 federal tax credit on your taxes when you file for your taxes next year. And that's where channel sponsors like Tenet come into place, because they can give you a lower monthly payment for your Tesla, because you can defer that portion of that loan all the way to the end, maybe even that $7,500 federal tax credit. So thank you to Tenet for sponsoring, and thank you to Tenet for sponsoring a bunch of other videos this month. And check out Tenet down below in the description. But with a lease, because you are not the owner, and because Tesla financing or whatever bank they use to lease you the vehicle is the quote unquote owner of the vehicle, they get the $7,500 and they choose to give you a portion of that, or even that full amount, but it is not itemized at all anywhere on the deal. So if you take a look at this right now, if we were to pop this open and see what the actual deal is, there is no line item discount of $7,500 off. They choose to give you like a lower interest rate or a higher residual value, but it is not shown at all anywhere here. You can get more of those details later on, and I strongly suggest to you, after you place your deposit, that you get access to the back end of the Tesla buying portal, and you can actually switch between leasing and cash. You can see all the different schematics of the deal, including residual value and money factor. Money factor on a lease is basically the interest rate on the lease, and if you want to figure out what the calculation of the money factor is to interest rate, all you have to do is take whatever that number is. It's usually like a 0.00130 or 0.00 something something something, times it times 2400, and that will give you what the true interest rate of that lease is. So 0.00130 gives you an interest rate of 3.12. So it might be around there, because from the lease payments that we used to see in the past, because Tesla used to show all these different numbers up front on the Tesla website, but they've since taken that website down. And before, in the past, on a Model 3, there was actually a pretty strong lease. On the Model 3, it was like a 0.00190 money factor, which translated to like 1.9% or something like that after the fact. So a Model 3 lease could make sense if you are someone that absolutely needs a car now. You can even do like a 2-year lease on the vehicle, and that can make sense, because if you need a car now but you want the Highline vehicle next, then you could do a 2-year lease and then wait it out, wait till the first year of the Highline vehicle produces and run throughs on the Model 3, and then get the Highline vehicle next year. But I would still almost recommend against that, because that doesn't give you any of the $7,500 federal tax credit, which is pretty massive at the day, as long as you as an individual qualify for the federal tax credit. And so I've always recommended to buy the vehicle, but of course at the end of the day, you got to get the best interest rate on buying your vehicle. And so that's where, you can do better than Tesla Financing's 5.69%. And that's where you can get the full list of all the different credit unions and banks down below at my Patreon link down below in the description, where you can get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rates for financing your Tesla, all better than Tesla financing at 5.69%. So definitely check out Patreon link down below in the description.